Today, I was going to talk about this ongoing trend of teams having no regard for injury risks or the future of the most prized players, including like the quarterback position. But instead, I just want to talk about how bad of an organization the Bills are. You're listening to the Fifth Down Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Slokes. You can find me on Twitter at Johnny Slokes with all one word. That's S-L-O-K-E-S. And with me, finally, K-Mill. Glad to have you on, buddy.
Hey, what's up? Good to be back. It's good to be back. I definitely don't miss South Dakota, as I was just telling you guys. So let's get into it, man. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. I'm excited. I'm back.
You can follow him on Twitter at KMill5thDown. And we also have our redraft warrior, Steve Bellman Jr. Steve, nice to have you on again.
Hey, thanks for having me. What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
You can follow him on Twitter at the Redraft Warrior. You can follow this podcast, the Fifth Down FF. This is going to be show 15, episode 71. We'll be covering the AFC and NFC West. K-Mill, you're back after a long layoff. Get to talk about your favorite team, but before we do that, I want to talk about how terrible of an organization the Bills are. What are your original thoughts on this, Steve, about this trade that they did with the Los Angeles Rams? They traded Sammy Watkins away for a second and a third and some bum-ass corner.
I know.
Do you feel like they just got robbed?
You know, the only way they didn't is if they know something that nobody else knows. Is there something else going on with Sammy that we don't know?
Does he need another surgery?
It smells all like that Trent Richardson thing that went down with the Browns and the Colts. It just reminded me of that, and I was like,
they got even less than that though. They didn't even get a first rounder.
Yeah, right. I'm like, so what's going on here? Initial thought that it's a downgrade, more so than it's the QB situation. More him not having the chemistry with Goff yet. Him not knowing their system, and more of that kind of a thing rather than, him losing talent. But I dropped him significantly in the rankings, more about just more the chemistry in the quarterback, not that he won't get the targets or, won't see the work as long as he's healthy.
Well, what about you, K-Mill? What do you think?
I'm going to take an interesting approach on this one because I actually, when I first heard it, I was like speechless. I was like, what the actual fuck? Because I looked at it and I'm like, this is a bad trade for both teams because now, this is bad for like literally everybody. It's bad for Tyrod because it loses Sammy. It's bad for Jared Goff because he's fucking Jared Goff and he's a shit quarterback. It's bad for Sammy Watkins because he goes to play in a shit offense with a shitty quarterback and a shitty gadget player in Tavon Austin. And the Bills get basically nothing for Sammy Watkins. But the Bills, I think, did it to themselves because they declined Sammy's fifth-year option. So I'm like, they brought his value down because they told the rest of the league that we don't believe in this guy, so we're going to trash his fifth-round option. So that was a glaring thing that the Rams were like used as a bargaining chip, and they're like, well, since you didn't think he's worth, the fifth-round option, we're going to lowball you here. So I think this is bad for all parties. I don't like this trade at all.
Well, I was on the toilet. I was taking a shit when this went down. Like I just wiped.
Perfect.
I washed my hands, and then I picked up my phone out of my pocket because it was buzzing. It was the sleeper bot notification. It said Sammy Watkins traded to the Rams, and I was instantly just pissed. Like I was so angry that this went down, and like thinking back on it, I think maybe I overacted a little bit, but I just felt like this was just an awful trade for Buffalo. And then it's not even like I'm a big Sammy Watkins guy. I only have one share out of him in like all my leagues, but it just made me really angry because I just felt like it was a really bad trade for Buffalo fans. Sammy Watkins should be angry. Fantasy football fans should be angry. I originally thought like he was going to be like a wide receiver 3. I still think he's going to be the wide receiver 2, though, just because, thinking back on it, yes, he gets a downgrade at quarterback in Jared Goff. That's bad. But at least he still goes into a situation where he's getting more targets because St. Louis will throw the ball more than Buffalo. And, I mean, Kenny Britt was the field stretcher last year for that team, and he had 1,000 yards with Jared Goff. So there's no way you can't think that Sammy Watkins can't do something like that, and he's more explosive than him. I think that he'll still be a low-end wide receiver too, but he'll be more volatile than he was last year and the years before.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to depend on his health like it usually does, but at face value, I was pretty upset about this. And I know who's jizzing his pants right now. It's Matthew fucking Roll. I'm just saying. But that, he's probably getting excited about this one, being a Rams fan. But, I mean, honestly, I don't see this as being an exciting move for either team. I think that now Tyrod gets to throw to Jordan Matthews, and that's not exciting to me at all. And I'm a huge Tyrod fan. And
does that change? Yeah, does that change your view on Tyrod, like where you have him ranked? Does he get a downgrade?
Oh yeah, I mean now the Bills have exactly the Bills have like left him out to dry, and I'm just like wow, like they're basically setting him up for failure. They're getting rid of everything that's good around him aside from LaShawn McCoy, and they're like here, do it, keep doing it.
The Bills are putting in their chip for a quarterback in the 2018 class.
Well, I don't understand how Tyrod Taylor is so criminally undervalued every year.
Yeah, they're definitely not invested in Tyrod the way they just let Watkins go. That's the way I'm looking at it.
My thing is the Bills are so terribly managed. They almost botched the Tyrod contract to begin with. Yeah. They sign Antoine Bolden, and all of a sudden they think, Sammy Watkins is expendable. We don't need Sammy Watkins to win. Sammy Watkins will not help us. This is not a good player to have on your team. We just don't want him anymore. Just take him off our hands. We don't want him. There's no way he makes us a better team.
Because Antoine Bolden is a comparable asset to Sammy Watkins.
Well, I mean, they also traded for Jordan Matthews, so the Bills, they got 2 slot receivers and a guy that plays like a flanker. They're probably going to use Jordan Matthews as a flanker. I don't think they're going to use him in the slot anymore.
Yeah, probably not.
Just because, I mean, they got Zay Jones. We know Zay Jones is going to be in the slot. Like, he's a limited receiver. We know this. But he might be forced to play on the outside. They might have to put Bolden in the slot, you know?
I still think Zay Jones is going to play on the outside.
But you don't want a player like Zay Jones on the outside. That's
not all.
I think I think he has a limited route tree. It's not good.
Yep, time will tell.
Yeah, but I couldn't believe that trade though. I mean, they just traded for basically nothing. Like they basically just pulled the Bills' panties down, raped them, laid their seed, and stole Sammy Watkins away. What did they give away? Like a second, third, and a corner like named EJ Gaines, who got like his ass beat, like he stole something. And then they received Sammy Watkins, and then the cherry on top, they get a draft pick on top of that, a 6th rounder. But still,
hey, you're forgetting Jordan Matthews. I'm
just talking about just the trade between LA and Buffalo. And then so the Rams upgrade, the Bills downgrade. They probably have one of the weaker receiving cores in the league, and likely the weakest cornerback core in the entire league. What did the Bills do? Did they do this on purpose, or can we officially name them the worst? Can we name them the worst franchise ran in the league, not the Browns? Browns make good decisions this past year. Bills make bad decisions.
Sure, the Bills have always made bad decisions. So you're like, well, this could be. Do they know something about Watkins, or they're just doing Bill stuff?
I think the Bills are doing Bill stuff because I think the Bills haven't made the playoffs since like 1999. I think the Cleveland Browns have made the playoffs more recently than the Bills.
Jeez.
I mean, that is true.
So I mean, if we want to go with like the worst franchise, I think they're right up there with that. I think it's time before we jump into the rest of the news and notes to do a little bit of station identification. We're part of the BS Podcast Network in the gold tier, www.bspodcastnetwork.com. We also have T-shirts on sale that are on the site for under the spreadsheet, you can also find us at www.flurrysports.org. They have the latest and greatest in sports. Subscribe to us on iTunes, and please leave us a rate and review. I do want to start reading some, so I'd like to get some reading material.
Cool.
Let's go into some more news and notes. We already talked about it. So the Bills traded Watkins away for nothing. They traded for Jordan Matthews. Zeke, though, is suspended. We'll get into that in a little bit, though, because we're going to be talking about the NFC East. I don't want to blow our load right now. Flacco, he started practicing. That's good, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. You said Flacco started practicing? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, okay, I forgot the part where I cared. No, I'm just kidding. But, I mean, yeah, I really don't care. I'm going to be honest with you.
James White was listed on the top of the depth chart, though, with Lewis as a co-starter. Is that a little bit surprising?
Not surprising. It's not surprising to me, but I'm just waiting for the injury to happen.
I think it's more surprising that Dion Lewis is named as a co-starter than it is that James White is the starter. Because James White had that amazing Super Bowl game we all know about. But it kind of surprised. I didn't think they really liked Dion Lewis that much because they signed Rex Burkhead, and we've been getting all that Rex Burkhead news that he's looking so great, and he's still not a starter.
I think
yet.
it's all
I think
veteran.
I think a lot of it has to do with Mike Gilsey also has a hamstring injury too.
Right. Yep. He's hurt, and like I said, they've been on the team, so that's Belichick's way. Put them on the list because they've been here and they've earned it. They're veterans or whatever. So I don't read into that right away with them.
Can we get a round of applause though? Montavious Bryant is cleared for the preseason.
Yes.
Can we
Nice.
get a round of applause for him?
Hey, thank God. You know what? That guy. All these weed smokers in the NFL are prosecuted, man, with wrongful conviction. I hate the league and their war against pot because all the explosive players they smoke pot. Fucking Zeke. Think about what Zeke. Before we get into Zeke, I just want to say what he did in just like a sample size and look at like what Martavis Bryant did. He got a year suspension. Yeah. Zeke got 6 games for like all this shit, and like I'm just like it's criminal, man. It's fucking criminal.
Yeah.
It's okay though. He's not going to smoke pot anymore because he hired me to smoke all his pot for him. It's a really shitty job, I know, but I'll make that sacrifice. It's okay.
Yeah.
I believe
it's all
you.
good. They could be all loaded up on oxys, but God forbid they fucking smoke a joint.
Andrew Luck is not expected to be on the PUP list. So that's some good news. So it makes sense though, because they wouldn't want him out for 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, that's some good news for my dynasty team.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to put him on the PUP list because then they're starting without him for 6 weeks. There's no way they'd do that. But I could definitely see him in this first game.
Yeah, I was in a couple of Superflex leagues, and I was picking up the backup to Luck everywhere off the waiver wire. I was like, oh, get him.
Well,
yeah, but he's still though, even though he's not going to be placed on the PUP list, his Week 1 status is still to be determined.
Yep.
Obviously, everyone heard about Devontae Freeman getting paid. He is a paid running back. 5-year deal, $41.25 million. Do you guys feel like this is a well-deserved contract? I do.
Yeah.
They only use like 5% of their cap on him.
It's probably still not
deal.
enough money.
I'm sorry, which player are we talking about again? I really didn't hear you.
That's great. I'm so glad you're paying attention, man.
I'm sorry, what was that? I'm sorry.
Devontae Freeman, man, he got paid. He got paid some serious dough.
I actually did not hear about that, so.
5-year deal worth $41.25 million.
Oh, I love that. That's a great deal.
Yeah, he's second in the league in rushing yards the past 2 seasons behind only LaShawn McCoy. 2,135 yards. He's second in touchdowns with 27 over the past 2 years behind only David Johnson. And this is all while sharing carries with Tevin Coleman.
I feel so sad that I underrated him so much because he to me, like last year, I was like, man, don't get him. He's going to be splitting carries with Tevin Coleman, bad investment. And then last year he went out and did the exact same thing he did the year before. I mean, this guy is a monster, and everybody needs to realize that. Draft him in every league.
What does that tell you what Atlanta thinks of Tevin Coleman, though? They signed Freeman to that big contract.
I still think they like Tevin Coleman. I still think they like what they do together.
Do you think they want to keep them together, or are they just going to let him walk?
Well, he still can go. He still can go somewhere else next year, right? They could let him go, but I still think they like what he can do. And if they put him on the field at the same time, they're freaking dynamite.
Oh, there's no doubt what he can do on the field. We're not doubting that. I'm just saying, like, can they afford to lock both of those guys up? Is the question.
They probably won't. No, they probably will not. So
yeah, it's gonna be like,
I don't think they want to invest in that kind of money. That's why they drafted Brian Hill.
I like to think this is a reminiscent situation of LT and Turner, back in the day, when they were both on the same team on the Chargers, and then the Chargers basically let Turner walk. It's like the same thing.
Yep.
I think it's going to be like that.
It could be.
Me.
No. You got to remember, Tevin Coleman was drafted before Devonta Freeman. He was supposed to be the starter.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
So I think that with all this news that happened so far today, the AFC East just got a hell of a lot easier for the Patriots. Sammy Watkins left the division. Quincy Nune was out for the year.
Yeah.
The Dolphins' second-round linebacker out for the year, tore his ACL.
Jay Cutler.
They're just dropping like flies.
Yeah.
Let's throw to Robbie Anderson. Josh McCoy to Robbie Anderson. Sammy Watkins to Zay Jones.
And then eventually
Tyrod Taylor to Zay Jones.
Yeah.
That's
gonna be great.
Let's throw Jay Cutler to Devontae Freeman. Doesn't even sound right.
Yeah.
JJ.
Mike Williams resumed practice.
Yeah,
and have you guys heard anything about Cam Newton possibly being uncertain for Week 1?
I did hear about that, yeah, and I was actually very interested in that because, I mean, that's actually pretty funny to me because he waited forever to finally have surgery, and now look, he might miss the start of the season.
See, and this is the reason why I wanted to talk about these teams. It seems like they have a trend where they're just not caring about these players' injuries and not acting accordingly because a lot of teams view a surgery in February as the same as getting surgery in June, and that's where you're running into these kinds of issues where Andrew Luck may not be ready, Cam Newton may not be ready.
I think Newton will be ready. He started throwing today. I think he threw.
I'm saying no. He's been throwing like shorter stuff. But what they're worried about is when Cam Newton wants to be like Cam Newton.
Yeah.
That's going to be bad, especially if they're worried about him throwing deeper passes, putting strain on the shoulder joint, and they're worried about him taking off and running. He can't be doing stuff like that when he's still nursing a shoulder injury.
Yeah, I don't know. I still didn't hear anything about him not being. I always thought it was never in doubt that he wasn't going to start Week 1. But anything's possible, I guess.
Well, has your fantasy team ever caught an injury bug and lost all your fantasy investments? Well, RotoSurance is the way to go. You can now get real-life insurance coverage on top of your top players on your team. They offer season-long insurance with each sport and just a one-time season premium fee. So basically, say you're in a $100 league and you want to buy an injury insurance policy on Le'Veon Bell, that will cost you about $16. And the way they do it is if Bell is to go down for 8 or more games, they would pay back your buy-in entry, and it's like you lost nothing. But he has to be out for 8 or more games.
I like it. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, rotosurance.com. They got it going on. Protect your team. All right. So, Keegan, I've been saving this episode for you, man.
I'm ready.
We're gonna start off with the AFC West. The Broncos, they're the division champions. So we'll start off with them. do you still think that the quarterback job is up in the air, or do you think that they're just going to take the safe route and go with Trevor Siemian? What's been the word?
So, hey, the word has been that Paxton Lynch has not made the leap yet, and I was really excited when we drafted him, but it just seems like he's just I mean, it's starting to the early sounds are like he's a bust. And, hey, he hasn't done anything to prove that wrong yet. Apparently, Simeon's, been mediocre, but his mediocre has been, like when they've gone together, Lynch has been worse on those good days, like they were saying. And I think that now they're just going to take the safe route, and unless Lynch has, an excellent preseason, I just don't see it happening for Lynch. I think it's going to be Simeon, the Week 1 starter, which for Broncos fans should be. It's unexciting, I know, but at least it's consistency. I mean, this guy was the guy at the helm last year. Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders both had 1,000 yards receiving or more last year. I mean, he's going to be like a steady rock. He's not going to be exciting, but it's going to be steady, I think.
What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I think they're going to stick with Simeon too, just because, like he said, Lynch hasn't taken that next step that they want him to. I mean, you look at Paxton Lynch and you're like, dude, that's our QB, and then he just hasn't really shown it. So yeah, I think they're going to still roll Simeon out there, even though I like Paxton. Yeah,
I think that eventually, once Paxton Lynch gets into his own and kind of grows under his feet a little bit, I think he'll be ultimately better for fantasy than Trevor Siemian, but not this year. No.
Right.
This year, Trevor Siemian's basically going to be like the Denver Broncos version of Alex Smith, except for he'll take a little bit more shots down the field.
Hey, did you see that shot he took today, Alex Smith, to Tyreek
Hill? I did. You showed me that.
I actually am not excited about the Kansas City offense, but we'll get into that in a second. But I do want to know that there has been reports, though, from camp, from the Broncos that Paxton Lynch has been unmotivated and stuff like that. And John Elway and the Broncos have kind of calmed them down. But, I mean, those leaks are coming from somewhere, and you'd have to think somebody in the organization is, watching, Lynch at practice and, seeing him and how he's studying the playbook and how he really doesn't give a fuck. And I think there's something to be gained from that, because it kind of sounds like that's coming from somewhere. So maybe Paxton Lynch hasn't got his head out of his ass and is really putting in the effort. He's just I'm going to collect this money. I'm not going to have to do anything, So I don't know, but at this point for this season, I think there's no way that Simeon loses the job unless he has a horrendous preseason.
Yeah. I agree.
K-Mel, before the show, me and Steve, we were talking about just random stuff about the AFC West. What do you think? Do you think that Denver needs another running back? Because Booker, he fractured his wrist. He'll eventually come back. Who knows what it'll be like when he comes back, though? We don't know. They got Jamal Charles and they got C.J. Anderson. They're both kind of brittle too,
Yeah, I think that they're brittle, but I think they're in a better. Honestly, I think that the injury to Devontae Booker kind of adds some clarity to the backfield, because now I think it was one of these guys could be a preseason casualty, when they make cuts. And now that's not really the case. They put Devontae Booker, on the unable to perform list, and now they go into the regular season with Jamal Charles and C.J. Anderson. So I think it's good. They're both little guys, but I think Denver's under the attitude of, hey, if, an injury happens, we're going to sign somebody off the street, kind of like Justin Forsett last year,
I really don't know who's really out there, to be honest, off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't either, but they'll probably sign some guy off the street.
C.J. Anderson, do you think he's going to get a bigger workload because of this? He's right now going at the back of the 5th round, and I feel like he could get a bigger workload. I really think he's an overly talented back. I think he's a little bit above average, but he's going to the back of the 5th round, and he's going after some guys that I think he shouldn't be.
Yeah, and I at the start of the season, man, in one league I was like, fuck, I got C.J. Anderson, and I was like, shit, this is not good. Like, man, I really screwed the pooch on my running back. But as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, Jamal Charles, injury prone. Devontae Booker didn't really take that leap last year. So C.J. Anderson might be going for a real value this year because people are, like, uncertain about, what the situation in Denver is with the running back, And I, honestly, now that I've thought about it, I think that C.J. Anderson is one of the best values you can get for running back this year. And I think that he's going to, if he can stay healthy, I think he's easily RB2, no doubt in my mind.
Absolutely. I got him as my 15th running back.
Yeah,
so
you know what? The more that I look at it, I love him more.
Yeah, so if that's the only thing. As long as he can stay on the field, which, they said he's been training more this off season and, everything's been good, and he's still healthy now. So, like you said, it's at the end of the 5th and the 6th round. Some drafts you could be able to get him in the 7th. People will be sleeping on him. It's going to be one of those guys. Yeah. Broncos, that happens, man, with those guys. Emmanuel Sanders last year, I remember him slipping really late.
Think about it this way. If you draft him in the 3rd round, or in the 5th round, that could be your 3rd running back. I mean, that's pretty. That's pretty awesome to think about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right now, C.J. Anderson is getting drafted at the back end of the 5th round, right at the turn, RB24. He's going after guys like Amir. He's going after Amir Abdullah. He's going after
Spencer
Mike
Ware.
Gillislee. He's going after Carlos Hyde, Spencer Ware, and Joe Mixon.
Everybody you just named, I would rather have C.J. Anderson than almost everybody you just named.
But is it mostly because of that small sample size you've seen in 2014 where he was really good for like that 6 to 7 game stretch? Because I know in 2015 he's a little bit sporadic because he was dealing with injuries, but he was still good in like 3 or 4 of those games.
When
2016, he had only 2 games with over 4 yards of carry, but the line was real bad. But he still managed to get 5 touchdowns in 7 games and 16 catches. So
I'm just saying,
the best running back they had.
If you honestly look at the games that he's been healthy, and you just look at the stats in those games that he's been healthy, he's had very few duds. I mean, this guy to me, if he can stay healthy, is legit.
Yep, I hear you there.
I do like his value. Do you think, though, an opportunity has arose for Jamal Charles? He's getting drafted at the back of the 9th round. Do you think that he has a chance to make a splash, or do you think it's going to be the rookie D'Angelo Henderson?
I honestly think at this point, as a Broncos fan, I think it's going to be sort of like a Tevin Coleman, Devontae Freeman type of thing. I think because we all know Jamal Charles got signed for a small 1-year prove-it contract type of thing. So, I mean, C.J. Anderson's going to be the guy, especially since Devontae Booker's out, and they're going to serve as like a thunder and a lightning type of thing. C.J. Anderson's going to bring the thunder. They're going to bring in Jamal Charles for a change of pace. We know that he brings that game-breaking ability, if he can stay healthy. So I think that it's a good situation. I think they're both going to complement each other really well.
I've been hearing that D'Angelo Henderson's been making some splash plays in practice.
Yeah, I mean, he looked pretty good in preseason already. He had some nice runs.
All right,
but it's all Charles. If Charles is healthy or not, Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, he just started running, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know if I could trust his knee, man. Even in the 9th round, 10th round.
I mean, is there anything left in that knee? Is it just bone on bone?
I mean, I'll put it this way: I don't want Jamal Charles in any leagues. Like, I've avoided him, and even mock drafts.
You avoided him like the plague.
Yeah.
Demaryius Thomas, he's being drafted right now in the middle of the 3rd round as wide receiver 15. Some interesting facts about Demaryius Thomas. He has caught 90 or more passes in 5 straight seasons, and he's been over 1,300 yards in 4 of the 5 past seasons except for last year. But they are talking about getting Demaryius Thomas involved more with some bubble screens, like we've seen how he had so much success with like that in the past. They're going to start to go back to more of something like that. He's had over 140 targets 5 straight years as well. And he's a PPR gem, I think, in the middle of the 3rd round. I like his value. He hasn't missed a game in 5 years. He's very consistent. Catch rate over 60%, 4 out of the last 5 years. The only year he didn't do that was 2015 with Peyton Manning. We all know how bad that was.
Yeah.
Only downside about Demaryius Thomas, though, is his yards per reception have gone down for 4 consecutive years, so he's playing closer and closer to the offensive line. But to combat that, he lost like 15 pounds. He went from like 230 to 215 pounds to try to gain some more explosiveness. So that's why I think they might try to use him a little bit more in the bubble screens.
Hopefully, and maybe get a couple more touchdowns. That would be good than he had last year. But he still was like 13th in yards, total yards, something like that.
He made it over 1,000. I think he was like 1,100. But it was his lowest total in the past 4 years, but it's still not bad for what he was working with.
Still top 15, yeah.
Emmanuel Sanders, I think he's an even better value than Demaryius Thomas. Emmanuel Sanders is at the back end of the 6th round, right there at the turn, wide receiver 33. Emmanuel Sanders is going to finish higher than wide receiver 33. He's just going to do that. I think he's got a very nice value. He's also another guy that gets a lot of targets, 130 targets the past 3 years. He's only missed 1 game in the past 3 years. That was in 2015. I think both Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders, they both have a low touchdown upside, but they both present a high floor. They're your safe and steady guys, especially Emmanuel Sanders, because if you're playing in a league where you have to start like 2 or 3, 4 flexes, Emmanuel Sanders fits in beautifully.
Sure, he does. Yeah.
He's your flex guy. You can get him as a flex guy.
He's that high-end wide receiver too, and Demaryius is that high one, and I think Sanders is that low-end wide receiver too. But they both can give you those games, and they're gonna get the work, and they're gonna be out there.
Yeah. And their guys are going to be available later, so that, if say that you do the 0 wide receiver strategy, these guys are both going to be available later to where, you can get them, and they're actually going to produce for you.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes, and I think I have a way to tie all this together at the end of the show about what you just said. I like where your head is at, Kamo. It gave me an idea. But I won't present it until later on. I won't present it until later on in the show, though.
All right.
The thing is, though, with Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders is they command so many targets, it doesn't really leave a whole lot for any other receivers or a tight end or anything like that.
Right.
Is there any other receivers that you guys think can make a name for themselves? Maybe a Carlos Henderson comes to mind.
I mean, maybe, but I think that he's going to get very limited, if anything. I mean, it's just there's going to be nothing but scraps left. Nobody that's going to be really fantasy worthy in 12 teams or above.
Unless somebody gets hurt, I don't see him.
You don't see Derby as a sleeper?
No.
I mean, again, I feel like I've heard that before. I don't know. I like I said, other than Demaryius Thomas and Sanders, you're going to really want anybody.
That's like a coma sleeper. Derby, are you kidding me?
Is there anything else you guys? All right. Before we move on to the next team, who do you guys see winning this division? This is a tough one to call, I think. I mean, you got Denver with a great defense. Kansas City has a great defense. Oakland has a great offense.
Yeah, this is hard. This is hard to call.
And I don't discount San Diego either.
Yeah, I definitely don't.
Sorry, Los Angeles. Oh, I slipped.
LA.
Yeah, that's true.
But who do you guys see winning this division?
Go ahead, you guys.
Raiders.
You going with the Raiders?
Yep.
Well, why are you going with Oakland? They have no defense.
Oakland because I got them scoring a shitload of points. So I'm going Oakland.
It's interesting you said Oakland because
I love Cooper. I love Crabtree.
It's interesting you said Oakland. We'll talk about that Oakland when we get to Oakland. But it's interesting you said Oakland.
I slipped too.
Yeah, they're Las Vegas next year. They're still Oakland this year. They're Las Vegas next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying it's interesting you brought that up, though.
Yeah. I'm gonna be the crazy one here, and I'm gonna definitely say not Kansas City because I don't like what they did by letting Jeremy Maclin go like that, and now they're gonna put we're gonna talk about this in a second, but I don't like what they've done. Basically, I'll just put it that way before I blow my nut here, and I don't think it's gonna be Kansas City. I think it's gonna be Denver and Oakland, and I think
just go ahead and say it.
I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say what you think I'm going to say. I'm actually going to concede to Oakland, as much as it pains me to say, because they do have like an offense that will put up insane amounts of points, and I don't know that Denver's, because Denver has a shutdown defense. We all know that, and I think that they're going to be even better than they were last year. But I just think that Oakland's going to put too many points on the board. Yeah, and Denver's not going to be able to win a shootout with Derek Carr. So I'm gonna say Oakland. It pains me to say it, but I'm going to say it just because Denver lacks like a true, franchise quarterback. So I'll say that.
You guys both say Oakland, so I guess we'll talk about Oakland now. Even though Oakland's not going to win the division, we'll talk about them anyways. But
yeah,
because you say Oakland because they have this great offense, but what you don't realize is Derek Carr played terribly against Kansas City twice and against Denver once last year. So I think both of those teams have Oakland's number. So I really don't see Oakland winning this division. It's going to be coming between Denver and Kansas City. I don't think the Chargers are going to have enough to win this division, but it's going to be between Kansas City and Denver. I think both of their defenses are going to be able to shut down Oakland's offense.
Wow, hot take.
Well, yeah.
Derek Carr, he has yet to crack the 4,000-yard mark in his career. He had 5 games or more with 3 touchdowns, but he only played Denver once last year. He was underwhelmed against good defenses like Kansas City, Baltimore, Denver, and Jacksonville. He had 8 games under 250 yards. He's being drafted at quarterback 6 right now. Hear that, quarterback 6. You think he's the 6th best quarterback in this league? I don't know if he necessarily finishes at quarterback 6. He's getting drafted right at the beginning of the 7th round. I just feel like there's better values in this draft than Derek Carr.
Oh, yeah.
I've got him a few spots after that. But he's in my top 10. He's in my top 10 this year.
I personally, any quarterback within the top 10, I'm not targeting. I'm looking for that, like, Thomas. I'm looking for that sleeper quarterback. I'm looking for the values.
Sure. Yeah,
that quarterback.
Definitely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. That's what I'm definitely doing. Most likely, unless somebody crazy drops. But
just say fuck you guys and draft Carson Palmer.
Yeah. I would draft Palmer.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have a bounce back year, actually.
I just want to win with a bunch of players that people are like, man, why the fuck did they beat me with these players?
That was funny. How the hell this burnout? Like.
But I think though they probably will throw. I think Oakland probably will throw the ball a little bit more. They signed Marshawn Lynch. How many touchdowns do we think he gets this year?
I'm going plus 10.
You're going plus 10. How many are you doing, Kamo?
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree on this one. I'm going to say plus 10.
Okay, we're not far off. I got him like 8 or 9.
Okay. But yeah, anywhere from that 8 to 12 mark, I think is a pretty good prediction.
I'm saying if he hits that mark, are you happy with taking him in the 3rd round?
Yeah,
I think you can be.
Yeah, I think I'll be all right.
I was originally really low on Marshawn Lynch. I started to move him up though.
I mean, he's always been up pretty high in my ranks. I think he was. I forget where I have him now, but he's in my top 10 too. And
you're getting drafted as running back 13.
So I have a feeling he could definitely go over 10 touchdowns. And if I could get him as my RB2, I'd be happy.
I'm going to be the jackass here and just say that I'm not targeting him in any of my drafts because I feel like the hype is just too much on him. Like a guy that just came out of retirement. We don't know what kind of shape. Yeah, we don't know what kind of shape. Hold on, just let me finish. We don't know what kind of shape he's in. We also, his last year with Seattle, he had, a long list of injuries that he was, nursing. I'm just saying, he's a guy that, I look at a little risk factor like thing, and I just, I don't want to touch him because I know somebody's going to draft him way higher than he needs to be drafted, and I'm not touching that.
I mean,
I've seen him in the second round.
Latavius Murray finished as the 13th running back, 800 yards, 12 touchdowns, and he had like 35 catches. I feel like you just slot Lynch in there for those.
You can do that too.
Yeah, he could do that, So that's where I'm going. I think he can be a little bit better than Latavius, so that's why he's in my top 10.
Well, let me ask you guys this question: if I point a gun at your head and say, "Will you draft Marshawn Lynch or Travis Kelce?" and if you get it wrong, you get a bullet in your head. Which guy would you choose?
Travis Kelce, no doubt.
Yeah.
Not even close.
That's where he's going right now in drafts right now. He's going right in the Travis Kelce range.
Yeah, and I'm not even close. Yeah, Travis Kelce by a mile to me.
I mean, it is kind of like the third round to me is kind of like that dead space where like there's not a whole lot of players I actually do want. Like it's like guys like Allen Robinson and like Jarvis Landry. Like some bunch of like Isaiah Crowell. Like I don't want none of those players. Lamar Miller. Like get that shit out of here.
I think McCaffrey's going around there.
I like McCaffrey. I do like McCaffrey, but at the back of the third.
Cook.
I like him at the back of the third.
Dalvin Cook's going around there. I think Dalvin Cook could have a pretty good year. So like you could take the chance on him rather than an old Marshawn Lynch. So I could see that.
And I think though that this team likes to use multiple backs, and that we're overlooking DeAndre Washington here a little bit. He's getting drafted as running back 66 in the 14th round as a dart throw.
He's definitely going to
play a bigger. He's going to play a bigger role than people think. Like Lynch is not going to be like this 3-down guy like at his age. Like he's going to be. He's just criminally undervalued right now.
Yeah, they're definitely going to give Washington those third down looks. But Richard's definitely going to be Lynch's handcuff. So if you're drafting a handcuff, I think it's Richard. I don't think it's
because Richard is not a good. Jalen Richard's not a good athlete. Jalen Richard's an afterthought. DeAndre Washington, he's the prized puzzle. He's the prized piece. They drafted him originally to replace Latavius Murray, but they're like, he's not quite ready yet. I think he's just more like a dasher, I think he's just a better. When I look at Jalen Richard, he looks like he's so awkward when he runs the ball. Like he looks so indecisive.
I don't know. I think he can fit more in that 3-down role than Washington. Washington's good in that 3rd-down role.
What is he, like 180 pounds or something like that?
I gotta look it up. I don't know.
Yeah, and I will say I will go on the DeAndre Washington camp. I mean, he to me he looks like the better athlete, just like Johnny.
What about Elijah Hood?
Hey,
you know what? That might be the plug that goes in there if Lynch does go down. Because I mean, really, if you think about it, it's going to be a committee no matter what. People need to realize this is going to be a committee.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a running back committee that nobody's talking about.
Right. I mean, what did Washington get? How many runs did Washington get last year? I don't think he had that.
Probably like 90 to 100 or something like that.
Okay, yeah, probably. And I think Richard had about like 80 or 90 as well, and then Latavius Murray had like 210 or something like that. Yeah, I feel like Richard was out there a little bit more than Washington last year. He got more.
I could be wrong though. I'm just trying to pull this up off the top of my head, but they have Amari Cooper, they have Michael Crabtree. Amari Cooper, wide receiver 8, getting in the middle of the second round. I feel like there's probably a chance that you can get Dez over him, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I think it's not a great value, but it's still better than any running back that you can get in the second round, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like where Amari's going right now. I mean, to me, I think that next year is going to be his leap. I think that Crabtree is getting up there in age, and I think that Amari Cooper is going to finally have like that true breakout season where, you know, he puts it all together. And so personally, where he's going, I like that, and he's a guy that's definitely
getting drafted as a wide receiver too. You could pair him up with Julio Jones or Mike Evans.
Yeah, and I love that.
I could wait for Crabtree. I'd wait for Crabtree. Like,
I know you're a big Crabtree guy. And there's good reason to like Crabtree over Amari Cooper. There really is.
I mean, it sort of depends on what strategy you go into it with, but I'm not going to blow my load on that.
Take a little bit of a leap, I would think, a little bit farther. But like, he still had a ton of yards last year, Cooper. You know, I think he was eighth in yards.
They were both Amari Cooper and Crabtree were both over 1,000 yards. Where they differed though was Michael Crabtree had 26 red zone targets. Amari Cooper only had 17. Amari Cooper was only third on his team. Seth Roberts had more red zone targets than Amari Cooper. But people are like, why don't they throw the ball to Amari Cooper in the red zone? Well, they did. They threw the ball to him 17 times last year, and they only completed 5 of those, and none of them were for touchdowns. So maybe they have a good reason not to give him the ball in the red zone. Because if you also go back to his rookie year, he had 8 targets. Yeah, 8 targets in his rookie year, and he scored, I think, 2 touchdowns. So he has 2 career red zone touchdowns in his career, and he scored 11 touchdowns. So he's getting most of his touchdowns from not the red zone. People have like this assumption that short touchdowns are bad, or short touchdowns are good, long touchdowns are bad, but I kind of like both. Don't you think?
Right. Well, now they got Jared Cook, dude. Jared Cook, he could be down there getting some red zone looks.
See, Michael Crabtree has 29 more targets than Amari Cooper the past 2 years, 16 more red zone targets, 7 more red zone touchdowns, and he's going a whole 2 rounds later.
Yeah. But like Jamil said, he's getting older. Cooper's still young.
That's all I'm saying. That's my big point about it. Eventually everybody's going to start hitting that downward spiral, and you don't want to be on him the year that it happens. I keep saying with that with Tom Brady.
You'd rather
I get a lot of hate with that. Yeah.
Yeah, you jump ship a year early rather than.
Always. I said that about Adrian Peterson last year when he was going way too high. I keep saying that about.
Good call.
I keep saying that.
Braden Marshall.
I did say that, and I keep saying it about Tom Brady too, and I'm like, it's gonna happen one of these years. It's gonna happen, so I just stay away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that with Lynch, and then he went to Seattle, and he destroyed me. And I never doubted it. And I never doubted it after that.
Amari Cooper, he had 4 games last year with at least 130 yards, but on the opposite spectrum, he also had 9 games under 60 yards. So he's very streaky, it seems like, so far early in his career.
That's true.
So that's something you got like. It's something you'd like to see him improve on.
That could be improvement with the quarterback too.
Yeah, because last year I tried a Derek Carr and Amari Cooper stack. I thought, this is going to be pretty good, but because Amari Cooper was inconsistent, it made my entire team inconsistent.
Right. When it doesn't work out, it hurts.
Clive Wolford or Jared Cook, who's going to be the starting tight end?
Got to be Cook. I would think it's got to be.
They did go out and sign him.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what? I'm gonna say who the fuck knows. I mean, honestly, at this point,
who knows? Does it really matter?
Yeah, it really doesn't matter because honestly, like Wolford, he's the more talented. I mean, he's like the more budding kind of guy that you can put the quotation marks around. And then you got Jared Cook, who's like the quote unquote proven veteran. I say that very lightly because he's not very proven.
Well, yeah, every offseason type.
Well, what's he going in like his 3rd or 4th year?
Yeah, with like what 3 different teams now.
No, I'm talking about Wolford.
Oh, Wolford, yeah, it's like his 3rd year, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they've been trying to develop him, and it just didn't really. Maybe they felt like they needed an extra like red zone threat, so they're like, let's get Jared Cook.
Yeah, true. I mean, I think that if anything, it's really not going to matter. They're both not going to be factors. They're both going to be on the waiver wire.
It's gonna matter in our staff league, because the staff league is going to be a 2 tight end league.
That's true.
Yeah, 2 tight ends,
boom.
Quarterback.
Yeah, 3 quarterbacks too.
Yeah, it's
Fuck,
gonna be
crazy.
crazy.
That would be crazy.
Let's round out the AFC West with. Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't talk about what do you call it? The Kansas City Chiefs yet.
No.
I was about to just move on to the Chargers. We'll talk about the Chiefs first, though. Obviously, they drafted Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to start though, but I do want to watch him play this preseason to see how he looks. But Alex Smith is still the quarterback this year, probably even next year too. But the only way Alex Smith and fantasy football goes together is in a super flex. He's my last option as a QB3, but he can be used as a QB2. But I'm greedy, and I want him as my QB3.
Yeah. Well, he's not going to throw, like, a ton of picks and, destroy your team.
Won't take shots.
I mean, you showed me the clip of him taking some shots in practice. It was good. Yeah, I don't know. I think he'll take some shots now just because, he's going to be like, all right, why am I going to be, like, consistent? Didn't we see him take some shots when he was with San Francisco when he was playing Drew Brees in the NFC Championship? Like, he can do it.
Yeah.
He can do it.
He could.
Do it.
He do it. Just do it. Come on. Give it to Tyreek Hill. Just throw it.
I'm so low on Tyreek Hill this year.
Speaking of Tyreek Hill is being drafted right now as wide receiver 20 in the middle of the 4th round. Is that unjust, or do you feel like that's fair? Based on the moves that they made this season, it looks like they do want to feature him as their wide receiver 1.
I'm just not seeing
it, man. Is that a good decision?
He looks like he reminds me eerily of like a Tavon Austin type of thing, like a gadget player that's like super fast, but yet he's like he has to me it looks like he has somewhat of a limited route tree too. Like he's very limited in what he can run. Like he's more of a speedster type of player, and I'm just really not buying into him as a number 1 wide receiver. I think that he's great, man. You get him in space and he can beat nearly anybody. But the thing is, man, you put him as your number 1 receiver, and I think that you're just asking for trouble here.
Well, here's my problem with Tyreek Hill. He was ultra efficient last year. He scored a lot of touchdowns. That's what made him look like he was doing good. They're thinking about cutting him back on the special teams. If you look back to Tyreek Hill in his college days, he played at a small school. He went to Western Alabama. But at Western Alabama, he never commanded more than 20% of the target share. So it means he never dominated against poor athletes in college. Despite being a really good athlete, he did not dominate. He was underplaying his talent. I'm really concerned about him going up against shadow corners in the NFL, the number 1 shadow corner. I don't think he's going to do a whole lot against them unless he can burn them down the sideline. Who I'm more interested in Kansas City is Chris Conley. Chris Conley, you can get him for free. He's every bit as fast and athletic as Tyreek Hill, but he's free and he's a lot bigger. He's 6'2". I think that he could be a better receiver this year. My hot take for this team is Chris Conley finishes higher than Tyreek Hill.
I mean, it's a good take. That's a good take.
Super hot take. Super hot
I don't know
take.
if I believe it, but
I don't think he'll command many targets. That's my only knock on that theory. But at the same time, I think that Tyreek Hill is going to command all the targets. But I think that he's going to be one of the reasons that Kansas City fails this year because he's not going to be able to adapt to that feature role. And I think that he's going to keep them. Yeah.
I'm saying I'm not drafting Tyreek Hill. I'm drafting Chris Conley. Because even if it doesn't work out, I got Chris Conley for free. You got Tyreek Hill in the 4th round. You lost. I can just move on.
Exactly.
It's not a bad move, but I still like Hill. I like him as a low end wide receiver too.
4th round.
You feel comfortable with him as your second wide receiver drafted?
I don't feel great about it. I'd rather have him as my 3rd.
Yeah, well, he's going as a second right now, which is just a downright disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting drafted as wide receiver 20, so, I mean, that's a little bit pricey.
He's got the
for me.
potential. I feel like Andy Reid can use him. They could use him wherever the fuck they want to use him. They can use him all over the field. So, I mean, if he gets peppered, shit, and stays healthy, I don't know. I feel like he can have a pretty good year.
I think, though, that Travis Kelce is actually, despite all the talks about Tyreek Hill, I think Travis Kelce could be the true beneficiary to Jeremy Maclin leaving.
Yeah.
Because Travis Kelce, he had 117 targets. That was, you know, I think that was last year. You know, I think that he can improve even onto that. You got to think some of those targets are going to splash over to him. You know.
Sure.
I just don't see Tyreek Hill commanding all of Jeremy Maclin's targets. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think
Granted, Jeremy Maclin was hurt last year, so we don't even know like exactly what kind of workload he's going to get. Maybe he's making all kinds of plays. We don't know. I'm not at practice. I don't see it. You know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, all I'm going to say is I think that Travis Kelce, I know he had a breakout year last year, but I think that he could be in for even more this year. And he's the guy that's like really high on my radar. Like, if you want to grab a tight end early, man, I think that he presents an even better value than Gronk because you got to snatch Gronk, early.
Yeah.
But Travis Kelce is like Gronk Jr. He'll command like a very high target share, yet like people, he doesn't have that name brand, and he has less of an injury history that Gronk has, So I think that it's like the best of both worlds with him.
I don't think Travis Kelce has quite as bit of a ceiling as Gronk does.
Well,
like,
true.
Because if you just take what Gronk did in 5 games and you double it, he would have finished higher than Travis Kelce last year, playing only 10 games.
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying Travis Kelce, he's not a touchdown scorer. He doesn't score touchdowns. He doesn't play in a prolific offense, though. He has Alex Smith on the ball.
PPR, though, that's what I play in.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying. I'm saying Travis Kelce he's a good value. I'm just saying he provides probably the same floor that Gronk has, but Gronk has a higher ceiling. That's all I'm saying.
Of course, and I totally agree with you.
What do you guys think about this backfield? Spencer Ware being drafted at running back 21, beginning of the 5th round. Got Kareem Hunt about the middle of the 8th round, running back 37. They said that Spencer Ware is the starter, but we've been hearing a lot of good news about Kareem Hunt showing some good plays in practice. He's building up some hype. Do you guys think that him being impressive in practice, does this give him the best chance to steal a job out of any of the other rookies other than Dalvin Cook and Leonard Fournette?
Definitely one of them.
Yeah, I really think that this one is one of the hottest issues I've had all offseason is like, how do I decipher this backfield? Because I love Kareem Hunt. I drafted him in my dynasty league because I believed in the talent at Toledo, and I don't know because like I like Spencer Ware. I can't go either way with this because it's a win-win for me either way. I have them both owned in some leagues, so I don't know. This is tough. I think that Spencer Ware is going to start the season as a starter. He'll have but I think if he gets injured or if he proves inefficient and it becomes a Kareem Hunt show, then I think that's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Spencer Ware or C.J. Anderson?
No, I still say C.J.
Okay. I would too. They're both 5th round running backs. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I think I'd probably draft Kareem Hunt over Spencer Ware just on the simple fact he's going after him. And anytime I'm not unsure about a backfield, if I'm drafting anybody, I'm taking the guy that's going later.
Take the later guy.
I'm always taking handcuffs. I love stashing handcuffs.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's really considered a handcuff at this point. It's just like, I don't know, this guy has a lot of upside. He could potentially be a starter.
True. Yeah, I mean, technically, as of right now, he's just handcuffed. But, yeah, I agree. I mean, at this point, he's really not that much. It's pretty hand in hand.
And he's kind of in that handcuff range in the 8th round. So, let's go on to San Diego, Whale's vagina. You got Phillip Rivers. Can I ask you guys, is it Phillip Rivers or Matthew Stafford?
Stafford.
Man.
Stafford?
This is tough. You know what? I kind of want to fight for the Phillip Rivers camp here because he's got a lot of weapons to play with this year. If Keenan Allen stays healthy, I'm gonna put a conditional. If Keenan Allen can stay healthy, I think that my vote's Phillip Rivers. But if not, I would
go ahead, do it, man. Just go ahead and say it.
I'm gonna say Phillip freaking Rivers. All right, guys, come on.
Yeah, no asterisk, no Keenan Allen asterisk, no Keenan Allen asterisk. Say it with conviction. You want Phillip Rivers over Matthew Stafford.
I got Phillip Rivers. He got some weapons, baby. He's got some motherfucking weapons.
Yeah, because I like Phillip Rivers over Matthew Stafford, not because I necessarily think that he will finish higher than him, but he has such a higher ceiling than Matthew Stafford. They're both their ADPs. Because, like you said, he has all these weapons. He has Keenan Allen. He has Tyree Williams. He has Terrell Inman. I think
Mike Williams.
I think Mike Williams is resuming practice too. I didn't even name him. They got Hunter Henry. They got Antonio Gates in his twilight career.
Benjamin.
I'm just saying he's got so many people. I don't know who I'd really want to draft, like in terms of receivers or tight ends or anything like that. But I do know I want Phillip Rivers because he's going to be the one throwing them the ball.
Yeah. And then by week 6, when there's nobody left because they're decimated with injuries.
No, what you do is you have Phillip Rivers for 6 weeks, and then you trade him for Matthew Stafford.
Yeah. There you go.
Because we all know Phillip Rivers, the last couple of years, he's been kind of struggling down the stretch towards the end of the second half of the season. Last year, he had 18 touchdowns and 14 interceptions in the second half of the season. He had 6 300-yard games, but 4 of which occurred in the first half of the season. And granted, they got hammered with injuries. We know that. That's San Diego's cue. Like the fantasy gods hate them.
They do.
Melvin Gordon is being drafted ahead of Devontae Freeman at running back 5. Should we be drafting Melvin Gordon before Devontae Freeman?
I think that's way too high for him. I like him, but I think that everybody needs to slow their rolls here because I also have a year too. I would rather be a year too early than a year too late, but I also have a rule that I'll believe it when I see it. Like you got to give me a prove it year, kind of like Devontae Freeman did, last year. So that was a prove it year. I need to see a prove it year.
You've seen him do it once. You want to see him do it again?
I want to see him do it again. And I'll take the safe option. I think that Devontae Freeman's a safer option than Melvin Gordon at this point.
You know what I say? Actually, I just want to see Melvin Gordon average at least 4 yards a carry for a season. Can I please see that? His rookie year.
It doesn't matter when he's getting the ball on the 1 yard line.
But isn't that kind of like you can't predict that? You know what I mean? That fluctuates from year to year. You can't project red zone touchdowns for a running back. I mean, I guess he does play for a good. He plays for a good. He plays for a good offense, so that's what's in his favor, and that's why he's being drafted in the first round.
I've always loved him. I loved him when he first came into the league. I thought he was going to have a huge year.
He had 52 carries last year in the red zone. That was 4th. Do you think he has a for sure 3-down role?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think he checks the box in that aspect too.
Absolutely.
I only ask because it seems like they want to try to get someone that can be like a 3rd down, like a satellite feature back, something like that, but it's just there's no one else over there,
Yeah, they're going to try to get Brandon Oliver mixed in there, but he's got to stay on the field too. So, I mean, if Melvin Gordon's going to get the ball, run the ball 20 times, they're going to be down in the red zone. He's going to have a chance for a touchdown on a week-in, week-out basis. And if he gets 3 to 5 targets a game, he's got a chance there to give you another 50 yards and 4 or 5 catches. That's another 10 points. So even if...
Oh, maybe 4 or 5 catches a game, but he had 41 last year.
Last year he had, He averaged 5 targets a game. I mean...
No, I'm talking about receptions.
No, receptions, yeah. I mean, he averaged at least 3. Had to be.
Yeah, he had 41 last year, and he improved from his rookie year. So I think that he can lock down that 3-down role.
Yeah,
he's being drafted right now at the tail end of the 10th round, or the tail end of the first round, 10th pick overall. I think it's basically one spot in front of Devontae Freeman.
That's where
you can't really go wrong.
5, and I got Freeman 6 now.
Yeah, I recently changed that around. I recently had it, I had it at Freeman at 5 and Gordon at 6, but I switched it around recently. But now I have to fix everything because all these trades fucked everything up.
Yeah, I was through that today.
And Z suspended. Yeah.
You got to move up all receivers in the AFC East except for Buffalo. And because, Buffalo just downgraded their secondary, so they got a couple more games of good production.
Yeah.
The wide receiving core, I think this is probably a sneaky receiving core, probably one of the better receiving cores in the league.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen, he's being drafted right now at wide receiver 16, at the 8th pick in the 3rd round. Is this ADP a good buy? He's going before Sammy Watkins. He's going before Alshon Jeffrey. He's going before Allen Robinson. Do you like him there, guys?
Not me.
No?
At this point, a lot of those guys are kind of crapshoots to me. So, I'll take a shot on the Keenan Allen upside. I mean, he burnt me last year. I spent a high pick on him. I got fucked over that. But I just don't. I don't know because Alshon Jeffrey's kind of a crapshoot. Some of those other guys named, they're kind of just crapshoots to me. So I think that he would definitely be in my conversation. I'm a Keenan Allen lover, So I think I would think about it.
Let me paint you this picture to try to convince you to draft Keenan Allen at 308. Let's say in the 8th, you got the 8th pick overall in the first round. Let's say you get like AJ Green. Then you come back around and you get Michael Thomas or something like that. Then since you got 2 solid receivers, you can take a chance on a guy that could either be really solid or maybe he just doesn't work out. That's in that case, it's okay to take a chance like that early when you already got 2 solid guys like that. You know what I mean? In that case, I think I would. In that case, I wouldn't mind going Keenan Allen and have Keenan Allen mixed with like Michael Thomas and like AJ Green. I think that would be pretty good.
But you could also get Adams there. Would you be all right with that?
No, I don't want Adams.
You don't want Adams.
No.
I'm not a big Adams guy, but I'm just saying some people are, and that's kind of where he's going.
Yeah, that's. And if you are, that's fine. I really don't have a problem with Devontae Adams. I just don't. I really don't want to draft a guy that I think has a good chance to regress.
Yeah, Keenan Allen scares me, man. I don't know. I just can't do it.
I can't blame you for that one, man. I mean,
people want to label.
I'd rather
people want to label Keenan Allen as an injury-prone player, but let me tell you, I don't think he's injury-prone. That his injuries are not related. They're all unrelated injuries.
Yeah, but they still happen, and it still scares the shit out of me.
I mean, I think injury-prone, that word's kind of thrown around a little bit too much. It's like if a guy goes down early in the season, even if it's a freak injury, it makes him injury-prone. Even though it could be his first injury, and if it happens and it just fucks everyone, well, don't draft that guy. He's injury-prone.
If you're in the NFL,
we talk about Amir Abdullah is a classic example. Amir Abdullah is not injury-prone. He had one bad foot injury, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's injury-prone." So it happened in week 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Fear Amir.
No. I think though the true value though on this team though is Terrell Williams.
Yeah,
he's going at the tail end of the 8th round at the turn, wide receiver 42. I love his value. I think he's the number 2 on this team actually.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's going to be Mike Williams' year. I think it's going to be Tyrell Williams. He could take the top off the defense. He's really fast. He's for his size. He was pretty impressive last year.
Yeah, he did.
He played through a shoulder injury too.
Yeah, I'm really high on Tyrell Williams going into next year, and he's like Keenan Allen insurance, for a team that just has him, for the weeks that Keenan Allen will be healthy or won't be healthy or whatever, if you could probably somehow get him on your bench, or if you have him in a dynasty league, think about it, you probably just won the lottery if Keenan Allen goes down.
Yeah, and before we knew Mike Williams was going there, and before we knew all the him getting hurt and all that, I traded Tyrell Williams away in one of my dynasty leagues because I needed a running back. I traded him for a couple of running backs. It was Danny Woodhead. Danny Woodhead was old, and there was somebody else, but I kind of regret it now. Fuck, I didn't know what I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know though. Sometimes those can play out, and you're like, damn, that actually worked out for me. you think you screwed up, and then all of a sudden it worked out.
Sell high is always a good option too. Sometimes, maybe that you did sell high.
Yeah, well, it's always good to have a second option in a high octane passing attack.
Yeah.
But that number 2 option is not going to be Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry, though, I think he's not a bad buy, I guess. He's going right now at the tail end of the 9th round, but I just don't like taking tight ends in the 8th and 9th round. A lot of tight ends in the 8th and 9th round tend to not work out. I'm not buying Hunter Henry. I honestly would not be surprised if Hunter Henry had less touchdowns than Antonio Gates. Antonio Gates is going to have about a season. I think I'm gonna win this year with Carson Palmer as my quarterback, and my tight ends are going to be Antonio Gates and Kobe Fleener.
Hey man, all right, I'm gonna be a Hunter Henry truther here, all right, for just a second. That guy's gonna be a beast. I think he showed flashes.
He will be here.
Yeah, and I think it's this year. Antonio Gates he's so burnout, washed out, whatever you want to fucking say.
Yeah,
he's done. He's done. He's a burnout, and he needs to fucking retire already. I'm sick and tired of this guy. He's an asshole.
I think it's a little bit of recent bias here because you've seen all these touchdowns Hunter Henry is scoring last year. The yardage wasn't really there. If he didn't score a touchdown, he wasn't really giving you a whole lot. You know what I mean? It's going to be much of the same this year, and you're drafting him as tight end 10.
Yeah, no doubt.
I just think that if I don't have a tight end in the 9th round, I'm just waiting later. I'm just gonna draft Fleener, or I'm gonna draft like Jason Witten or someone like that.
I don't mind pairing Gates with one of those just in case you get the touchdown upside with Gates. But I still think after the first 3 to 4 weeks, you're gonna start seeing just Hunter Henry. You're not gonna see much.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. That's the way I think, but. You never know.
I just think they use two tight ends and they cut into each other.
Yeah, kind of like O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate.
Yep. All right. I think we pretty much raped the AFC.
Yeah.
Let's go over to the NFC. We'll start off with the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, there's a big dark cloud over the franchise. Jerry Jones is not happy. He is furious about Ezekiel Elliott being suspended for 6 games. Ezekiel Elliott is suspended for 6 games. A lot of people were saying, I was talking to a lot of people on Twitter about where Zeke is going to be going in the draft. A lot of them are saying about early 3rd round, late 2nd round. How do you guys feel about this? We'll start with KMO. What's your thoughts on the Ezekiel Elliott situation?
My thing is he can keep his fucking hands to himself in any situation. He hit his girlfriend. He's pulling tops off fucking Mardi Gras. and he's going around and he's getting into fucking issues with the cops. I mean, this dude needs to, like, seriously just take these 6 games and just fucking think about his life. Like, just sit here and be like, dude, you could make millions of dollars and just don't act a fool, man. Like, just have fun.
Don't
be a
finger
good guy.
pop your asshole.
Yeah, don't finger pop nobody's asshole. Exactly. And so I just think that he did it to himself. He deserves it. It might get reduced a little bit. I think that there's definitely going to be a suspension that stands. There's no way he appeals this and, like, it gets totally reduced to 0 games.
Where do you see him going ultimately in the draft? Let's say he does get 6 games.
I'd say 3rd because he's still an elite talent, like, no doubt about it. I mean, but if he gets, you have to think about it as a fantasy owner. If he gets suspended for 6 games, you know, you still got a good 10 games. So if I got him in, like, say, if I can get him in, like, the 4th round, like, if everybody just shied away from him, you know, I might think about taking him because think about it, you could probably get a guy like
You're not
CJ
getting him in the 4th.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying if it did happen, you know, I don't know what your situation is.
Ezekiel Elliott. Let me put it in the contents for you. Le'Veon Bell missed 3 games last year, and because he missed 3 games, he got drafted at the tail end of the 1st, early 2nd, and he just missed 3 games. So he fell that far. But what might help out Ezekiel Elliott is the fact that Le'Veon Bell is still able to finish his running back 3 despite missing 3 games because he was so dominant week in and week out.
Right. But we're talking about a massive suspension. We're talking about 6 games. I'm just saying, like, maybe.
Yeah, but hear me out.
Okay.
It's a 6-game suspension, they said today, right? But
mm-hmm.
there's a lot of talk about him appealing it. He has 3 business days to appeal it, and he could take this to court. And if it lingers on in court, his ADP is not going to drop as fast as people think if this thing goes to court. And I think it'll end up baking in right around like the mid-second round, I think, eventually by the time draft day comes around. Because they're saying right now end of the 2nd, early 3rd. So if you want him, you're probably going to end up drafting him in the middle of the 2nd. I think that's ultimately where he's going to settle in at.
Yeah, you know, and you're right. And I've never been a fan of Zeke because last year I was like, he's going way too high for where I want to get a running back. And, you know, I just didn't like where he was going. I was like, this guy's a rookie. I haven't seen him play an NFL game yet. You know, I have the same attitude this year. This guy's suspended. I know what he brings to the table, obviously, after his rookie year. But, you know, unless he's going at a value for me, I'm not even touching him with a fucking 10-foot pole. Like, if he can settle in like the 3rd round somewhere, I might consider it because I know he's a transcendent talent. But, you know, if not, then he's just not worth it to me, and he shouldn't be worth it to your fantasy team. You could do way better.
What about you, Steve?
If it was up to me, I'm still taking him in the 1st round.
I know. You told me this before the show, and it kind of surprised me, but I like where you're going with it. Please explain why you would take him in the 1st round still.
Now, you said Bell missed 3 weeks. He still finished as the top 3. Now, I don't care if Zeke misses the first 6 weeks. I'll take that hit as basically drafting a bust in the 1st round, but then still being able to get Zeke week 8. I feel like I can draft a good enough team because I've done it in the past, draft a bust in the 1st and still did pretty good. So I still feel I can make it to the playoffs, and I get Zeke in week 8 after the bye.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can get by drafting him in the 1st round. But you don't have to draft him in the 1st round. You know what I mean?
I do. There's always going to be somebody that's probably going to jump on him. I don't think he's going to fall too late past the middle of the 2nd. I don't see him going. I feel like somebody's going to jump on him with their 2nd-round pick.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I'm drafting. If I'm drafting at the back of the 1st round and say I get like the 10th overall pick or the 11th overall pick, and I get, say, like Devontae Freeman or Melvin Gordon, I would love to pair him up with Zeke. But, you know, in a lot of leagues, he might not get taken that early. If he falls to the back of the 2nd, it's really interesting because you could pair Zeke up with Bell, and it's kind of like last year. Last year, because of Bell slipped to the end of the 2nd, you were able to pair up Zeke and Bell last year in a lot of leagues, and you might be able to do it again this year.
Yeah, last year you could have did Mike Evans and Bell. You know, that's freaking beautiful at the end of – because Mike Evans was going at the end of the 1st, early 2nd.
If you had Zeke and Bell on your team last year, you won a championship most likely.
I did. I had David Johnson and Zeke.
David Johnson and Zeke. If you were able to get David Johnson and Zeke, oh.
Well, he traded to do it, but he traded to do it.
But yeah, I gave up a lot for him, but I believed in it, and the only thing that fucked me is the championship week. My team just didn't show up.
Yeah, that'll happen. That'll happen.
With Matthew Stafford as my fucking quarterback. Matthew Stafford, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you want to go up? Say, all right, you don't draft Zeke, and you go into your fantasy playoffs, and you're playing against a guy that took Zeke.
That has him?
Playing against Zeke, and you're like, shit,
you feel bad.
I could have had that dude and still been all right.
You'd feel like shit. You'd be like, at that moment, you'd be like, I fucked up.
But that's the thing. That's the chance you got to take. You got to, read the draft room. You got to know who you're drafting with. It's like, and then we can go into the handcuff situation.
Yeah, I mean,
or
if you're drafting Zeke, let's say you draft Zeke in the middle of the second round.
Okay.
Where are you taking his handcuff? It's probably going to be McFadden. Where would you feel comfortable taking him?
McFadden will probably be the one that goes first, and you're probably going to have to really seriously think about right around that Derrick Henry range, 5th, 6th round, somewhere in there. You're going to have to pull the trigger on him.
You almost feel like he has more value than Derrick Henry, right? Because he's getting actual half the season, potentially,
Unless Alfred Morris, which you could get way later, unless he actually starts to get some play and McFadden looks old and, that could be a gamble. So I would actually want them both, but it would be hard for me to pull the trigger on McFadden in the 5th, 6th, and have to pull the trigger on Morris at some point.
Hey, just avoid the mistake and don't do it. Just don't. You got better options out there.
So
I mean, you could definitely get the top. You could probably get running back 1 numbers between McFadden and Zeke combined, don't you think?
Oh yeah, I'm sure you could, but think about that. That's 2 premium draft spots that you're mulling around for 1 player suspension. When in the first round there's a plethora of players, in the second round there's still a plethora of players. In the third round, even we get to the 4th and the 5th round, you still got a plethora of players. Just avoid the headache and don't even touch Zeke. I mean, to me, it's it's such a headache to me. I don't even want to deal with it.
I'm just saying, if I'm picking within the first 3 picks of the draft, and I get myself David Johnson, or if I get myself Le'Veon Bell, and I see Zeke there at the back end of the second round, I'm absolutely jumping on that.
Yeah, that's why
he comes back, I have the best team in the playoffs.
I don't see
it's situational, definitely.
I don't see the top 3 picks being able to get him on the way back. I feel like he's going to be gone by that.
Oh, he will be. He will be. That's why I'm advocating for. I'm advocating for taking him in the middle of the second. I wouldn't even have an issue with you taking him in the beginning of the second.
If I'm 6, 7, I might be taking him just because I can get somebody coming on the way back, and I feel comfortable with getting somebody else in the 3rd, and just slipping Zeke in the IR. And you could draft Zeke in the 2nd round and say, you know what, fuck it. I'm not gonna worry about going after McFadden. I'll just draft that behind Zeke. No big deal. I'll ride Zeke. I'll take the lumps, and it'll be like I drafted Adrian Peterson last year. Basically the same thing. Only back in week 8.
I'm not saying you should be targeting Zeke in the 2nd round. I'm just saying if you absolutely want him, you better draft him early 2nd to the mid 2nd. Me personally, I'm probably not doing that. I'm probably just going to take a receiver. But that's just me.
Yeah. I think if I was the top pick, especially in a 3 wide receiver league, I would definitely consider taking the top 3 wide receivers I have ranked over him. But I think once I hit that 7th spot and pass, I have a chance that if he's still there, I'm probably going to jump on him and say fuck it.
I think we pretty much demolished the running back position for Denver or for Dallas. So let's move on to the receivers. I think this is a year. Last year, Dallas had a really easy schedule last year. and it led to them running the ball a lot, and they didn't really have to throw the ball a lot. This year, though, they have one of the harder schedules in the league. This could lead to a better game script for guys like Dak Prescott and Des Bryant. I feel like that they could have a little bit more opportunities this year, as you know, they're going to be in more competitive games. They're going to end up throwing the ball more. Des Bryant right now is getting drafted at 207. He's right in front of T.Y. Hilton, Doug Baldwin, Brandon Cooks. He's just after Amari Cooper and Michael Thomas. So right there in the middle of the second. Is that a good spot for him?
I'll be the first to go here. I don't like it. I don't like Dez. I don't like where he's going. I don't really like the what I've really seen. I'm also a Cowboys hater, but there's a lot of names that I like way more than Dez here. And plus, this team, if we're going to go when Ezekiel is healthy, it's going to be a run first team. Make no doubt about it. And there was already a struggling rapport with Dak and Dez, to begin with. So in my opinion, it got better as the season went on, but there's too many names that I like more than Dez here.
Are you taking T.Y. Hilton over Dez?
Yes.
Are you taking Doug Baldwin over Dez?
Yes.
What about Brandon Cooks?
That's a toss-up for me because I actually am not really too high on Brandon Cooks either. I don't like I think New England's just way too crowded in every position. But yeah, that's kind of a toss-up one for me. I would have to look at it more.
That's where you draw the line.
Yeah, that's where I draw the line.
No, Brandon Cooks, you're not sneaking in the middle of the second round. Not today.
Not today.
I don't really think they have any other receivers that are really noteworthy. I mean, I guess if you're in like a league where you start multiple flexes, or like you're in a deeper league, you could add like a guy like Cole Beasley to that list. I think he'd probably end up in like the high 30s to low 40s wide receivers right now. I think that's where he'll end up finishing. So, I mean, that's not too bad as like a low-end wide receiver 3, but outside of that, I don't really see a whole lot. I still do like Jason Witten, though.
Yeah, he's a great value this year.
Just because, he's really old, but I was seeing did you see that one video of him, like, just toasting some dude in practice in the end zone?
I didn't see it, no.
Oh, man, it was great. He was like 36-year-old. He just broke this dude's ankles.
Yeah, I think I think he's ranked 15th in my rankings right now.
I honestly would, like I said, I really wouldn't mind pairing him with another low-end tight end towards the end of drafts.
Yeah, definitely. I like him as a late round grab. If you miss out, like grabbing him and Evan Ingram or something like that, I would love that. Have the young guy who I think has a lot of potential there. And
Jason Witten is being drafted. Jason Witten is being drafted after Jared Cook, after Julius Thomas is being drafted after Kobe Fleener, Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard. Like, he's being drafted after all of those guys, and I think he's outscore them all. And I'm just gonna laugh my way to a tight end 1 this year. I'm just gonna draft Jason Witten, and he'll end up as tight end 12.
Like it. Yeah, I like
it. And it's the guy I got him in the 14th round. Fuck you.
I'm always the guy that ends up. I'm always the guy that gets my first tight end and my first quarterback when like half the league already got their backups. So I'll probably
exactly.
A lot of him.
Yeah, fuck backups, man.
I'll even go Jason Witten and Austin Hooper.
Okay.
I'll go. All right, no, I'll get even nastier. I'll get even nastier than that. I'll go Jason Witten and Austin Seferian-Jenkins.
Ooh,
okay.
That's pretty nasty.
Yeah.
That's pretty nasty.
That is. That's actually pretty good. I kind of like that since the Nua went down.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know. We're gonna save it. We're gonna save this for Monday, but we're gonna have a hot take episode on Monday. Does that sound like a good idea, guys?
Yeah, I think I can do that.
We could say anything ridiculous we want, and people are like, oh wow, that's good. I like that, and even though they know it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a couple.
Heck yeah.
Like, It honestly wouldn't surprise me if Austin Seferian-Jenkins led his team in receptions.
No,
I thought you said. I thought you were about to say Super Bowl. Let his team do a Super Bowl, and I was like, John, please.
No, yeah, maybe if he's playing Madden.
Yeah.
Let's go over to the Washington Redskins. They don't like Cousins. They know like Cousins. Yeah, they are not. They're just not pro Cousins team. They don't want him on. They cannot. Kirk Cousins cannot help them win.
No, they don't believe it.
He's no good. You can't give him a contract.
Now that Sean McVay is gone, they want to see him do it again. So.
Yeah.
But they're going to end up paying this guy $100 million, and he's not even going to be on their team.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins, he's not a good quarterback. He almost had 5,000 yards. He's no good. I don't want that on my team. Can't have that.
He's done it for nearly 3 straight seasons now. But yeah, he's a fluke every year. So I'm sick and tired of it, man. He needs to go to a team that will actually value him. You know. I gotta take him. I gotta take him over. I gotta take him over Andrew Luck in the 8th round. I have to. Oh yeah.
Andrew Luck scares the fuck out of me.
Yeah, we're
in the 8th though.
Yeah, I'm just saying where Kirk Cousins is going right now is criminal. Like to where he could end up. Like he should be the target on like every smart fantasy player's draft board. I mean, he's going to be. In this year, I don't think there's going to be that big drop off that everybody's talking about.
Honestly, if anything, I see Kirk Cousins scoring more touchdowns than last year. He only had like 25 touchdowns last year or something like that. They failed a lot in the red zone, so there's a lot of room to improve in the red zone. It wouldn't surprise me if he's over 30 touchdowns this year.
No, wow. I love Terrell Pryor there. Crowder if he can stay healthy, and if Reed can stay on the field.
Yep.
Yeah, and Terrell Pryor, man, he's been making some sick catches. I've been seeing it.
Dude,
I'm starting to buy into I bought into the hype so much. I had Crowder over over Terrell Pryor, but I recently changed it. I got Terrell Pryor higher.
So did I.
And it's not that I don't like Crowder. It's just I can't rank Crowder as high as I had him when I don't know if he's the for sure number 1 or not. But I'm still drafting Crowder over Pryor. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I have him
a lot later.
Just because I have him ranked lower doesn't mean I'm not drafting him.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I still love Pryor. I still, seeing Crowder get hurt a little bit. Last week he kind of got a little banged up or whatever. It kind of scared me a little. And Pryor's just been fucking putting in work, man. And I'm like, this dude ain't gonna get hurt, man. He's just fucking putting in work. So I'm like, shit.
10 touchdown appeal.
Maybe you do want that Pryor. He's looking huge, and he's freaking put on all that muscle. Like, damn.
Well, the good thing about Pryor is, he may not be the number 1 guy there. But he might be. He's going in the 3rd round. If you go, he has 10 touchdown upside. You can get him in the 3rd round. If you go with 0 RB, he might be your wide receiver 3. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
That's lovely. If you have him as your wide receiver 3, that's lovely.
Oh my
God.
That's
what I want.
Yeah. That's just like bust my nut, like lovely.
Yeah, you could take more chances if you go that route rather than you drafting a couple of running backs and then you're like, okay, I don't really love my wide receiver 1, so I got to kind of take a little.
Running back. What is this running back you speak of? What is this 3rd round running back you speak of that's gonna outscore Pryor?
No, not 3rd. I mean, first 2 rounds or whatever. If you decide you want to take, a couple of running backs.
I could see maybe Christian McCaffrey outscoring him. Would you take Christian McCaffrey over Pryor?
Probably not.
What about Isaiah Crowell?
Over Pryor?
Yeah.
No.
Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah.
You take Marshawn Lynch over. What about Lamar Miller?
Yeah, probably not. I'll probably stay away from Miller because,
Ty Montgomery.
Even though I might have him ranked higher, I don't know.
So basically, the only third-round running back you want over at Terrell Pryor is Marshawn Lynch, and I agree.
Marshawn Lynch.
All these other, because Leonard Fournette plays for a poor offense, Lamar Miller plays for a poor offense, Isaiah Crowell plays for a poor offense. You take him over all those guys.
I know. I'll take Fournette in a bad offense. I kind of like Fournette too there. So.
Yeah, well, I would definitely take Fournette over him. That Fournette's in the second round, though.
Late second, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's going late third round. I think he's like 308, and you got all these running backs in front of him. It's like, I don't know if I really want to take any of those guys over him. Maybe Marshawn Lynch.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I think the true sleeper though on this team is Josh Doxson. Because he's kind of a guy we haven't really seen because he wasn't on the field a whole lot last year. But he could be another red zone option. He's a bigger dude. I think he's like 6'4". So I mean, they could definitely utilize him down there.
He had some injury shit go on last week too. Like these guys that have these little injury things that go on, I'm like, what were you doing all off season, man? You've been working out. Terrell Pryor's not getting hamstring injuries.
A lot of that stuff is like just them being lazy over the summer.
Yeah,
that's why
you guys
pull stuff,
Yeah, right. So it's like it's hard for me to trust guys like that. I'd rather invest in somebody that I know.
I'm lazy and I pull stuff all the time. So.
Yeah. Oh, just pull him.
Now, another running back situation that people have been following closely, Rob Kelly and Samaje Perine. Samaje Perine did not help himself with his showing. He fumbled again.
I know.
And this guy, he's never fumbled before in college, and all of a sudden now he just can't hold on to the ball. And we know Samaje Perine is better than Rob Kelly. We know this. But if he keeps fumbling the ball like he is, he's not going to see the field, especially when the game is on the line and they want to run the ball in a 2-minute drill. He's not going to get the ball in that situation. It's going to be Rob Kelly.
No way. You're absolutely right.
I had there's another one where I had to switch around. I had Samaje Perine before Rob Kelly. I had to switch it around. They're ranked very close together, like in the mid-30s. But I got Kelly over Perine right now at this point, just because he starts. He's the starter right now.
It makes me want Chris Thompson even more. Just because, dude, they love that dude there, and he's gonna
he could be a sneaky little pickup in PPR leagues actually.
Yeah. And he's like he doesn't go away. Yeah, Chris Thompson doesn't go away. He's always there.
Yep, they really love him there.
I mean, what's he got, like 40, 50 catch potential?
Sure. Definitely.
And that's not bad when you're taking him in like the 13th, 14th round,
Yeah.
That's not too weird.
And if these other guys aren't getting it done, and they're going to put him out there a little bit more often, an extra, few times a game, that's just going to help him. So, I'm not a huge fan of Rob Kelly, but he's been getting it done, and he's actually looked pretty good in some of the videos that I watched.
Do you think Jordan Reed stays off the PUP list?
Ugh, I don't even want
to. It's so hard to say.
I mean, he's got the toe injury.
So injury prone. He's the definition of injury prone. I'm just saying. You said it earlier.
Yeah, you can call that injury prone because he has the same injury over and over again. Concussion, concussion, lower body injury, concussion.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the toe thing, the toe thing is bad, man. I feel like all guys that have like these toe injuries over the years have just like.
Remember what happened? Remember when it happened to Antonio Gates? It fucked him up.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, shit, yeah. It was a lot of.
So you guys are taking Jimmy Graham over Jordan Reed? Are you guys going that low yet?
Not quite yet. I mean, we'll have to wait till we start drafting in a couple weeks.
What about you, K-Mo?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that tail end of your question. So you said something about Jordan Reed?
Would you take Jordan Reed or Jimmy Graham?
I think I'd be Jimmy Graham. I love Jordan Reed and what he stands for, and I love him as a player. But, I think that Jimmy Graham's safer option at this point. Even though he does have a significant injury in his history, I think that he's got the higher ceiling because of the offense he plays in.
I think I got Jimmy Graham as my tight end 4.
He's 6 for me, I think. I think I got Eifert and Olsen.
You got Eifert. I got Olsen over him, but I got Eifert behind him. I got Eifert at number 6.
Gotcha. Yeah, Graham moved up. I think I had him at 8. He went up to 6. Rudolph moved down.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know what he can. You know what Jordan Reed can do when he's healthy. He's obviously shown that.
Right.
He can almost keep up with Gronk. He can almost keep up. Yeah.
Over there.
He can pretty much almost keep up with Gronk. I still don't think he's on his level or ever has been on his level, but he's close.
But he gets the catches. Yeah, he gets the catches, and he can score.
Yeah. Is there anyone else on the Redskins you want to talk about? Maybe Vernon Davis?
Nah.
Nah, not thrilling?
Not really. Nah.
Not doing it for him.
Maybe if I'm streaming tight ends, he is.
Yeah, right. He's a good streamer once we know Reed's not going to be around.
Let's go over to the New York City Giants. Now, this is a team where their off-season moves, it makes it look like they want to pass the ball more. They realized we have the worst running backs in the league. Let's not use them. Let's throw the ball. So they pick up Brandon Marshall. They draft Evan Ingram, which is a mistake, by the way. They just drafted a tweener. It's never gonna work out. But they obviously want to throw the ball more. So I think this is honestly. I think what happens if Eli Manning struggles this year? What's his future looking like? That's what I want to know. I think we all want to know this.
Yeah, I don't know. He's been going down.
Do you think he's just like a legend in New York and he can never lose his starting job, or do you think, man, what the fuck? We just got him Brandon Marshall. He still stunk the joint up,
Yeah, I think they could probably. It'll take a couple of years, but they got to. Really
I just don't think they're. I mean, obviously, I just don't think. What if they just go and say, you know what, Redskins, you guys don't want Kirk Cousins, we'll take him. Thank you. You can have Eli Manning.
That would be crazy.
We'll let him go.
That would be sweet, but I don't see it happening. I'm under the camp of I think that New York treats Eli Manning like he's a living legend. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion there. I think he's a living legend. I think that as long as he can shell out mediocre quarterback play, I think that they're going to want to keep him around because they want to do right by him and put him in their ring of fame and say, oh, he only played for one team. Yeah, he took his own.
Gobble his balls. Drink the gravy.
Exactly. I'm not saying that that's what I want them to do. I'm just saying that that's what I expect them to do. So,
I mean, could you think of a team that has a worse set of running backs than the New York Giants? I mean, Paul Perkins and Wayne Gallman. Paul Perkins and Wayne Gallman. And then we'll throw in Shane Vereen, he's coming off a bicep injury.
What about Orleans Darkwa?
Yeah,
you know what? I like Orleans Darkwa more than I like Paul Perkins, and Orleans Darkwa's not much better.
I agree.
Honestly, this is another running back committee that nobody's talking about. Everyone just assumes it's Paul Perkins, and it's not Paul Perkins.
Will probably have the most fantasy points out of all those running backs.
I was just about to say that. That's the running back I want out of this bunch is Shane Vereen. I don't want Paul Perkins and Wayne Gallman. They're both pretty much the same running back. They're average at everything and good at nothing.
You're going to be able to get Perkins so late, and you're still going to probably pass over him. I mean, that's the way
I don't think Paul Perkins is going that late, though. To be honest,
I mean, he should.
I don't think
for a starting running back, he's got to be one of the last ones, no?
Oh yeah. For a starting running back, I don't know. I think even that's a stretch though. How much of a starting running back is he really?
That's 30 running backs, right? I mean,
I know he's running back 29. He's getting drafted at the back end of the 6th round. He's getting drafted right next to Tevin Coleman.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I still think you're overpaying for him because I think Wayne Gallman's going to have similar stats to Paul Perkins. I really do. And Wayne Gallman's not that good either.
He's not a very different build or player than Paul Perkins is.
I mean, if you can't run the ball, you're going to have a hard time throwing the ball.
I'm just saying, we've seen it the past 4 or 5 years. It's just been a running back committee from hell from the Giants, and I just don't see that changing. It's gonna be just share the ball to everyone. Everyone gets a couple of shares,
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why I'm not touching anyone in that backfield. No way.
Nope.
I mean, Odell Beckham. I moved him up to my wide receiver 2. I moved him over Julio.
Okay, I got him as my number 1 still.
You still have him as your number 1.
Yep.
Nice.
I still think he's going to get pretty much all the glory over there. I'm down on Brandon Marshall. I still like Sterling Shepard, and I like Evan Ingram.
Hey man, I hate to be the Odell hater here, but I'm gonna throw some serious shade. I don't hate him. I don't hate Odell, but I do say that he's my number 3 because I like Antonio.
Oh no, not a whole one spot.
Yeah, it's all good.
I do say I like Antonio and Julio more than him, but I'm just saying, cause everybody wants to act like Odell's the second coming, and I think he's great. I do think he's great, but he's not. I would much rather have Antonio or Julio on my team. Just saying.
Well, I got Antonio Brown over Beckham, but I have Beckham over Julio Jones just because I think that he has a better outcome to get more than 10 touchdowns because that's just not who Julio Jones is. And I'd rather take that. We've already seen him do it 3 years in a row. He's gotten double-digit touchdowns. Just give me the double-digit touchdowns and let's just move on.
Yeah.
I don't need to think about it too much. I'm just gonna take him over Julio. Julio could do it. I'm not saying he can't score double-digit touchdowns. He very well could. But I'm just gonna take the guy that's done it 3 years in a row.
Julio's 5 for me. Julio's 5.
You're really expecting some regression then, huh?
I got Beckham, Green, Brown, Evans, and Julio. I got regression for the entire Falcons team.
Wow.
And
haters.
that goes for Julio a little bit. But
now,
he's still top 5.
My thing is with let's move on from Beckham. My thing here is with Brandon Marshall is I've heard a lot of people say, Brandon Marshall, we don't know how much he has left. He's washed up. They're saying all these things about Brandon Marshall, but nobody wants to say that about Jordy Nelson. Suddenly, they're both the same age, but Jordy Nelson, he's not in any danger. He's not in any danger to just fall off a cliff, but Brandon Marshall is because Brandon Marshall tore an ACL, right? No, that didn't happen. That happened to Jordy Nelson. You know what I mean? The reason why Brandon Marshall looks like he's done is because he's playing with fucking Josh McCown last year, or the Jets quarterbacks in general, Ryan Fitzpatrick, bad. That's why he looked bad last year.
I mean, that's definitely
bad.
A thing, but he just did not look good at all. He just didn't look good at all. Now this could be.
How are you supposed to look good? How are you supposed to look good with the balls thrown over his head or at his feet? You know what I mean?
Just running a route. I was like, shit, man. He just looks fucking old. Just like Andre Johnson with the Colts.
Hey,
He very well may happen.
Hey, can I get a word in real quick? Here, I got you. All right.
And
I'm just saying. I agree. I agree with you. I think that Brandon Marshall, he looked lazy last year. He just didn't have any spunk. He was like, oh, the Jets suck. Well, fuck it, whatever. And he just didn't do anything. He was garbage. And granted, I'll give him the garbage quarterback play excuse because I fucking owned him in one league. And he just, fuck. He didn't put any effort in. And I think that he'll do better this year. I think. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to see what's going to exactly happen in New York this year, though.
Yeah,
it all rests on Eli.
If the Giants are winning games, he could be all right. I feel like once the Giants start losing a couple of games, Beckham gets a couple touchdown catches, and what? Does Marshall all of a sudden go, fuck this? You know what I mean?
Well,
like, I don't know.
I see the Giants being contention to win that division, to be honest.
I don't think they're going to be great, so I feel like that could definitely happen.
I think they very well could win that division. I don't think that Dallas is going to win 12 or 13 games this year. I think the winner of this division is going to have 10 to 11 wins, and that's very well within the Giants' reach.
Redskins.
Redskins could do it too. I'm saying this is a really good division. I think all three of those teams could be like a 10-win team. It wouldn't surprise me. But I think the NFC East though does play a harder schedule this year though. So that's another thing to keep in mind.
Yep.
True. The Philadelphia we can go on the Philadelphia Eagles because they haven't really got a tight end we could speak of. Evan Ingram's, he's a rookie. He's a tweener. He's too big to be a receiver. Too big to be a receiver. Too small to be a true tight end.
They're going to throw.
Not going to work out.
Going to throw them all over the place. They're going
to he's a rookie, man. I'm not worried about him this year.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'm in the camp of the rookies. They have rookie tight ends need a year to break in. I think they got that break-in period, and I think that I don't touch rookie tight ends.
I'm all right pairing him up with somebody else. I'm all right with pairing him up with somebody else, like we talked about before.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's fair.
All right, let's go on to our last team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, disclaimer before we get into the Eagles. A lot of people love the moves that they're making, but let's be serious. The Philadelphia Eagles, this is not going to be a good offense this year, I don't think. I really don't think it's going to be a good offense. I do think Carson Wentz takes a step up from last year, but this is by no means going to be a team that's going to be putting up a lot of points. I really don't think they're going to be even winning a lot of games. I think Carson Wentz is going to get another season where he's going to be throwing the ball a lot, so that's good. I got him bumped up in my rankings. I think it's quarterback 20. But people are on board with Blunt. I'm a little bit worried about Blunt.
I mean,
what's your guys' take?
If they do, I think a lot will depend on Alshon Jeffrey. If he can stay healthy and Wentz takes that step, Ertz is there, they just got rid of Matthews. If that, I feel like Blunt could have a pretty good year because they're going to be, obviously playing a little bit better. But I don't know if I'm sold on Jeffrey staying healthy all year and that offense doing that. So,
they have to be sold on him because they just traded away Jordan Matthews.
Yeah, I know. But
that's still insane too.
But Blunt down if he gets the opportunities down in that red zone, I like his chances to get in the end zone.
Yeah, but what happens if Philadelphia starts losing games? LeGarrette Blount's not going to be on the field.
Yeah, he's not going to get enough. He won't get enough carries.
I mean, I guess I'm looking at it from a different aspect because if I'm going 0 RB, I don't necessarily know if I would want LeGarrette Blount being my number one running back. You know what I mean?
No, not number one.
Or even really my number 2 running back. I really don't know if I even want that, but.
I've got him.
He could be in line for 8 touchdowns. And if you get 8 touchdowns in the 6th round, I guess that's not bad. But I'm saying I'd rather have him as my RB3 than my RB2.
Right. I hear you. I got him around where I have Hyde and those kind of guys.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have games where Blunt's going to get 20 carries, and he's going to look, oh yeah, that's good. You're also going to have games where he gets 7 or 8 carries because Philadelphia just lost. They got their shit beat in,
Right. Yeah. You're right, man.
Because they got a lot of pass catching backs behind him too, like Sproles and Pumphrey.
And what's his name? Smallwood.
Smallwood. They said that he could be potentially second in line for carries over there.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Because I mean, you got to think they're gonna cut Ryan Matthews as soon as he gets medically cleared. That's a given. They don't need 30-plus-year-old running backs on their team. You know what I mean?
There's your running back that can go to Dallas or wherever. Ryan Matthews.
You mean Ryan Matthews to Denver?
Or to Denver.
Or maybe what if San Francisco cuts Carlos Hyde and Carlos Hyde goes to Denver?
Yeah.
I would love that.
That would be pretty good.
And then Ryan Matthews can just go to San Francisco. Go back to the Bay Area for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess San Diego isn't really Bay Area, is it?
I don't know. I'm from the East Coast, so.
But anyways, we're getting a little bit off track.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Eagles, though, I just don't think they're going to have a prolific offense, and that's what scares me a little bit about Blunt. I like Blunt when he's on a high-powered offense like New England, because it's okay to fall forward for 3 yards when you're playing for New England as long as you're scoring those touchdowns. But when you're playing for Philadelphia, how many carries do you think Blunt's going to get on that team? Like 215, 220 maybe?
Yep.
That sounds about right.
Yep.
Because you got to think they're gonna definitely mix in Smallwood a little bit. They actually sometimes use Sproles around the red zone. Sometimes they're very unpredictable.
Oh yeah.
I can't predict that situation at all.
What about the wide receiving situation? I mean, they just traded away Jordan Matthews. Who's going to fill in that number 2 spot over there in Philadelphia? A lot of people are saying Nelson Aguilar, but we all know Nelson Aguilar is #bad. We know this.
Actually, I'm going to say something that you're going to hate me for, Johnny, and I'm going to say, what about Nelson Aguilar? Because, hey, man, I'm hearing he's making some splashy plays in training camp, and apparently he's had a great preseason so far. So I say, why not? Let's give the guy a shot here.
You should. You should try talking to some. You should try talking to some people that were actually been to the practice, though. That a lot of times he's getting open, but not catching the ball. It's just hitting him right in the hands, like just blatant drops, just blatant. It's still going on.
Hey, you know what? I honestly don't.
You just don't magically get like good hands. Either you got them or you don't. And he just doesn't.
You know what, Johnny? I'm just trying to give you shit right now. I honestly don't know who it's going to be, but
there's really nobody else.
It's going to be Matt Collins. It's going to be the rookie Matt Collins.
Matt Collins.
I heard he was making some plays and he was making some plays in the preseason.
What about Bryce Treggs?
Yeah, he had like 9 catches too.
Yeah, I mean that dude's fast.
Something like that. If I had to plant my flag, though, it'd be Matt Collins, but who cares? It's the number 2 for Philadelphia.
I know, that's the thing, and you don't have a ton of talent over there, so.
Yeah. Alshon Jeffrey, though, I think is a nice sell-high candidate. I think he's a sell-high. Because, like you said, I don't know if he's going to stay healthy, but he's looking really good as the only option right now for Philadelphia, isn't he?
That's true.
I mean, they got Torrey Smith, but we know Torrey Smith did kind of past his prime a little bit at this point in his career, don't you think?
You would think.
I don't think he's going to do a whole lot.
They never.
Yeah, he's a burnout.
All right. The tight end, though, Zach Ertz. He's always the guy that turns it on in the second half of the season. You always wish that he could just do that the whole year, but it's just it has never come to fruition.
Last year, I don't think he was fully healthy over his rib injury until towards the end of the year. So that's why I thought, all of a sudden he started taking a little bit more hits. But, like, before that, he was being a pussy. He just, like, wasn't going up to get grabs. He just wasn't getting hit. I'm like, what's this guy doing? And then all of a sudden, I was like, okay, so maybe his ribs were still hurting. Dude, I've cracked my rib before. You ever crack your rib? You feel fucked up for a long time. So I was like, I'm actually pretty excited about Ertz now.
I will admit he's been ending up on more of my teams than I normally would. And I guess it's just the fact that he's going where he's going, he still represents the tight end 1 to me for where he's going. I love his ADP, and he's landing on some of my teams, even though I'm not really a big Zach Ertz guy. If anything, I'm a guy that would rather just trade for Zach Ertz and not draft him.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. For where I'm
just going at tight end 11.
From where I'm taking tight ends, where I usually take tight ends, I don't ever really go for the big names. I mean, if Travis Kelce comes available to me, I might take that. But, other than that, I have no problem waiting on a tight end. And he's a guy that, he exemplifies a lot of upside to me. I think that he could be a good guy for your team.
Would you take Zach Ertz or Eric Ebron?
Zach Ertz.
He's going around before Ebron.
I'm leaning Ertz more now. I was Ebron before, but
I was too. I was Ebron for a long time.
I'm putting Ertz at 8 and Ebron's going to 9 because
I got him over Ebron too. I like his upside more than Ebron. Especially in a PPR league, he's going to get more receptions than Ebron.
Yeah.
He has 80 to 85 catch potential now. Now that Jordan Matthews is gone, they haven't got no one else over there to throw to. It's going to be Alshon Jeffrey, Zach Ertz, and then the rest can fight over the scraps.
He should definitely get the targets, the catches. The yards may not be there every week, and the touchdowns are never going to always be there, but you're going to get those targets and catches.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much everyone that we can really talk about in the NFC East. I think we got all the teams, right?
Yeah.
I think there we go.
Is there anybody else that you guys want to mention before we end the show? We're going on 2 hours strong here.
Damn.
Not surprising.
No, I think we touched on everything, man. All the news going on, and
I mean, we had a lot to cover. I wanted to do this big one, but now I want to start moving to some shorter episodes that are more focused on one topic, and we're going to be starting to push them out my goal is to try to do one every other day.
Oh, damn. That's good, though. That's good if you can do that.
I'm going to be looking for some good guests, just in case. Because I know everyone's busy. They got a busy schedule, but I'm gonna try to cobble something together for us. We'll be coming out with some of our. I can't really call it sleepers. There's not really such thing as a sleeper pick anymore, is there? It's more like a value pick instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a value pick.
Because the age of the internet just killed the sleeper picks. There's no such thing as sleeper picks.
Yeah, what's a sleeper now? Like a guy that is going 70.
We'll do our bold predictions, and then we'll also finish out and do. I just realized we just did the AFC West and the NFC East.
I was gonna say
didn't need to do that.
You wanted to talk about the Cowboys, so.
It's because of Zeke. It was because of Zeke. It's okay though. We'll finish out the other two divisions sometime next week.
Yeah.
And
the AFC East and the NFC.
We're okay.
Yep.
We are A-okay. Well, I also want to do our final ranking show.
Okay.
Then we also have to have a draft strategy, like a love-hate debate, like a debate or something,
Yeah, we do. I want to have a love-hate debate.
All right. If you guys enjoyed this show, please show us some love on iTunes. Please leave us a rate and review. And I'm gonna start reading these things on our shows because I want some feedback. I don't care if it's negative. I don't care if it's positive.
Right.
Please let us know. Some people let us know through the messages, and that's cool. That's fine too. But the ratings and the subscriptions on iTunes is what really helps us out. So that's what we really need. That'll pretty much do it for today's show. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in, and please tune in. We will be having a couple of more shows. I know we'll have one this weekend and another one Monday, so please keep in tune for that. Have a nice night, John.